Okay, so just before this video starts, this is obviously the Mandalorian reactions, which Mandalorian Season 3 came out quite a while ago, and honestly I've got to apologise for not uploading this a lot sooner. Basically, what was happening here is I was planning on releasing the reviews, and then I thought maybe I should do reactions, so I took the reviews off because they were scheduled and they were about to release, and then I took them off because I was debating whether I should do reactions, and then I just eventually forgot that I was not, that I didn't upload them. So yeah, so starting this new year now, I'm going to start releasing the reviews on YouTube and the full lengths on Patreon. The full lengths you can see for $3 monthly. It'll be coming out every week, and then after that, so will Ahsoka be doing the same thing on the same day, because eventually when this season of Mandalorian ends, Ahsoka will take its place. So yeah, so that's all I've got to say about that. I'm sorry that this took so long to come out, but it's just how it was. And we're back with a brand new season of The Mandalorian. Yes, we are doing The Mandalorian. Mandalorian has had a difficult time on this channel. I started the first season, only did like 2 episodes on YouTube, but then I did the rest on Patreon, I believe. Yes, I did. Season 2 never made it onto Patreon, but I did watch it, so yeah. I did Boba Fett as well, which also included The Mandalorian. And now we're doing Season 3. I promise Season 3 is going to be on Patreon. Full-length videos are going to be on Patreon, whereas the reviews are going to be here on YouTube. For now, I think. Depends. But yeah, so this is going to be Season 3 of The Mandalorian, the premiere of Season 3. And last time we left off with The Mandalorian was in the Boba Fett show, weirdly enough, and basically the Boba Fett show had like 1.5 episodes dedicated to like the Mandalorian himself. Where in Season 2 we left off the Mandalorian, where he gave Grogu over to Luke Skywalker to train as a Jedi, and then in Mandalorian we picked up again where Mando then went to see Grogu with Luke, who also had Ahsoka and R2 there with him. So yeah, big development that Ahsoka and Luke Skywalker know each other. I can only imagine the conversations that she had with him about Anakin and the time in the Clone Wars. Yeah, also Grogu then decided to go back to Mandalorian in Boba Fett, and Mando's also been excommunicated from the Mandalorian Coven, I believe it is. The Covert, yeah, the Covert. So yeah, he was excommunicated from them because he revealed his face to Grogu, and not to mention also to Cara Dune, to Bo-Katan, to Bo-Katan's sidekick, who's played by Sasha Banks, or Mercedes Moné as the wrestler is called now, and Luke Skywalker as well. So he's revealed his face to them, breaking the way of the Covert, the Mandalorian Covert, at least this version of it. And so then he was given the task, like, if you want to redeem yourselves in our eyes, you've got to go to this sacred place on Mandalore, which is a destroyed planet. So I wonder if we go back to there. So yeah, he's got to go there. Well, if he wants to be redeemed, that is, he's got to go back there and make himself and redeem himself in their eyes. But there's also other developments. He has the Darksaber now. He also has the Darksaber, which is a symbol of him being a leader of Mandalore, but he doesn't want it. Bo-Katan wants it. So I wonder how that's gonna play out, the whole thing. There's going to be a bit of a power struggle between them two. Well, not really a power struggle, because Mando doesn't want it. Mandalorian doesn't want it, but Bo-Katan does. But you can't just give it up because she won't accept it. She won't accept her opponent giving up to give it to her. So yeah, I think I've talked long enough. So yes, if you're on YouTube, you're going to be staying for the review. You might hope you stay for the review, but if you're on Patreon, you're going to be watching my full-length reaction to Mandalorian Season 3 Episode 1 starting right now. yeah, nothing else. Well, obviously, these Star Wars doesn't usually have end credit scenes, but I had to check anyway. So, a very nice start to season 3 of The Mandalorian. I really liked it. First of all, starting off with what I thought was a flashback, starting off with the armourer. I called her the Forger, but armourer. And they were initiating this child into the ways of the Mandalore. It's interesting that the kids' helmets look different. What do you think of the idea that they, like, all Mandalorian almost all Mandalorian helmets have like a different design to them? Like, obviously Mando's helmet is different than Boba Fett's helmet, not just colour-wise, but also like kind of design-wise. The Forger's helmet, Bo-Katan's helmet, Paz Vizsla's helmet, the kid's helmet, they all look kind of different. What do you think of that? The little initiation for the kid. I mean, he's technically kind of free from the vow of never removing his helmet because he didn't actually say the words, unless they probably continued with the initiation later on. But I'm just going with what we saw on screen. He never said the words, "I will never remove my helmet," so he is technically free from that vow. Yeah, but he never got to say the words before they were attacked by this giant... I don't know how to describe it, like a giant armadillo alligator thing. Because it was like a combination of the two, because it had that hard shell on it. But yeah, it took almost the full... Like, all of those Mandalorians, they couldn't take that thing out. They were having a hard time. And then Mando just comes in and booms. He just destroys it in like 2 shots. He did have a ship. He did have the assistance of a ship. But still, he did it very easily. Making his entrance felt. Very felt. And a little nice cue of playing his music just before it happened. Because I honestly did think that kid that they were initiating was Din Djarin. I really thought that. But yeah, it turns out it wasn't a flashback. And Din Djarin came back and he explained to the armourer his plans of going to Mandalore and bathing in the living waters so he can be redeemed. It does feel like a cult. Like, as Bo-Katan said at the end, it does feel like a cult. That, at least that section, those version of Mandalorians. Not the type that we're used to, because they said, everyone says that they're children of the Watch, but obviously not Death Watch, because in Clone Wars, Death Watch, they were allowed to remove their helmets. So I wonder where these guys were at during the whole Clone Wars era. What were they doing? I imagine they were still doing what they're doing now. But yeah, he explained to her that he plans on doing that. He plans to go to the Mandalore, to visit the living waters, to bathe in them, and become redeemed in their eyes. And she seems open to it. She seems fine. Like, just said, this is the way. And if you do that, if you bring me back proof that you've done that, then you can be brought back in. You can be brought back in. I understand that it's pure loyalty and the loyalty of a warrior, but I don't know why he keeps going back to that certain section of Mandalorians. Like, there's so many other Mandalorians that he can go to. He could join it with Bo-Katan, he could be allowed to remove his helmet, he could stay with Grief if he wanted to, he could do what he wanted. But he keeps going back to these people who have this so strict code of conduct that it's almost suffocating. But again, that speaks to his character. That speaks to the character of Din Djarin. Loyal to a fault, really. I do wonder if the armourer... Well, yes, I know it doesn't technically count because he revealed his face in front of Bo-Katan, Mercedes Monet. I don't know the character's name. Cara Dune and Luke Skywalker, so he did reveal it to more than just Grogu. But I think that if he said, I removed it for Grogu, then would she take more leniency on him because Grogu is technically a Mandalorian because it said they were a coven of 2. Like, Grogu is like technically an honorary Mandalorian. So would she have more leniency on that because Grogu is a Mandalorian? I do wonder. But yeah, after that, he went to He went back to Navarro, a planet we've been to multiple times in Season 1 and Season 2, and now here. It looks a damn sight better than it did the last time we saw it. I remember it most from how it looked in Season 1. It was a desolate wasteland, basically. It was just a place where pirates and bounty hunters went to get their new jobs. But now it's like a full-on city, thriving on business and everything, and money and mining. It's a respectable place. It made sense saying that Kara was recruited by special forces to work for the New Republic, but we know the situation with what happened with Gina Carano. Like, she was fired, and she didn't even know about it until Disney or Star Wars announced it on Twitter. So she didn't even find out she was sacked until everyone else did. So yeah, that was a tough break, and I do feel like there should be room for forgiveness there. You shouldn't just cut off a character like that and never mention them again. I do feel like maybe they should revisit that whole situation and see if they made the right call. Kara's now been recruited by the New Republic. I imagine that Rangers of the New Republic show that was supposed to be made, I think that was supposed to be her show. But that show has since been cancelled, I believe. Because I've not heard anything about it for a long time. And it wasn't mentioned at Star Wars Celebration, I don't believe. So, yes, maybe you should revisit the whole Gina Carano situation, if I were you, Disney. In Kara's absence, Grievous found himself in need of a marshal, a new lawman, a new person to keep things in order. And he asked Mando, which would be a good shout. It's a good shout. It's probably the best option available to Grief at the moment, and it would be a decent fit for Mando. But once again, loyal to a fault. He's loyal to these Mandalorians who are so suffocating in their rules. But still, Mando came here with a purpose in mind. He came here with a purpose. And that was to get IG-11 back online, and I am so excited by that idea, because I honestly thought we were done with him. I was a little confused in the recap why they showed him for a second, and I thought maybe it was because they showed the statue of him, of him being like a saviour. I thought just showing the statue was the reason they showed him in the recap, but no, they actually want him back to... Din Djarin wants him back because he's the only droid that Mando trusts. I mean, he hasn't spent long enough around R2 to really trust him yet, but you will find no more trustworthy droid than R2-D2. IG-11 is the one that he wants, and all they could find was his torso, all they could use was his torso, his arm, and his head. And it was a haunting sight when first of all, it's a miracle that they managed to get him back online after what happened to him. He was blown to pieces. He was blown up by a bomb that was inside him, and he exploded. So it's a miracle that they could even find the parts. Like Grief said, it was a miracle they could find the parts to get what they could. But knowing that, to bring him back online after that is mad. But yeah, it was a haunting sight when he deviated back to his original programming and he was just crawling along the floor trying to get to Grogu. That's not how you want to remember an old friend. Yeah. Terrifying. It was terrifying. But yeah, that resulted in him being damaged once again. His head was crushed, and they took him to these people. I can't remember the name of the guy who was in Rise of Skywalker, but he was that same type of species. And he wants them to reboot IG-11 back to how he was. But to do that, they need parts, and now Din Djarin is going to have to go and look at those parts. That's what Mandalorian is. That's what the Mandalorian show is from the beginning in Season 1 and Season 2. Like, he always has a goal in mind of what he wants to do, and then it said, oh well, if you want to get that goal, you have to do this thing. But then if you want to get that thing, you have to get this thing. But if you want to get that thing, you've got to fight this guy. If you want to fight that guy, you've got to talk to these people. That's what Mandalorian basically is. He keeps getting deviated from his original goal. Like even here, like if he wants to go to Mandalore, he's going to need a droid with him to help navigate it. But he wants that one droid. His memory circuit gives him crushed, and now he's got to go and find a new part to fix that droid so then he can go to Mandalore, so he can be redeemed, and then he can go back to the Mandalorians. It's like, he always does this. It always happens, and I'm almost relieved. Actually, I'm very relieved that he keeps that helmet on all the time, so you can't see the disappointment on his face when everything just goes wrong and he has to be like, alright, I'm going to have to keep going. I would have given up so many times by now if I was him. I do not have the determination that he does to do what he does after all the setbacks he suffers. It's mad how he keeps going. I would have given up so many times. Yeah, also ran into a bit of trouble on Navarro as well. Pirates. Bunch of pirates, always pirates. It's never a good thing unless it's Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah, never a good thing when pirates turn up. Yeah, they're trying to barge their way into this school that used to be their bar, and they want to go in and have a drink. But it's a school now, and they're like, yeah, but we say it's still a bar. Like, you're gonna go in there, you're gonna find no drinks. You're just gonna find a bunch of kids. Like, what do you plan on doing while in there? Like, you can't treat it. You can sit down as if it's a bar, but you're not going to find anything to drink in there. I'm just imagining a bunch of pirates sitting at like the kids' desks asking for a drink, and they're like, "No, this is maths. Look at the board and solve the questions." Like, I don't know what they're trying to do, and it leads to a little quick draw round. Yeah, Grief once again, the only person I've seen outdraw Mando. And that was in season 1 when he actually had to spin around and outdraw 2 bounty hunters that were ready to shoot Kara and Din Djarin. So he's out, and that was before Din Djarin and Kara even got a chance to pull their guns out. So yeah, Grief is the only one who I've seen is fast enough to outdraw Mando. Well, Cad Bane would definitely, and I don't know, did Cobb Vanth ever outdraw Mando? I can't remember that episode too well. Cad Bane would definitely be fast enough to outdraw Mando, but spoilers for Boba Fett, he's dead now, and he never had to fight against Mando. He fought Boba. But yeah, I digress. I'm digressing too much. I do that a lot with these reviews. Yeah, after that, he's trying to leave Navarro, and Vane and the rest of Vane and a bunch of bounty hunters show up. Well, a bunch of, yeah, bounty hunters, pirates. A bunch of them show up, and we get a little space battle scene. I don't know if we've not had many space battles in Mandalorian before. It's usually very ground based, is Mandalorian. A little space battle going on in the asteroid field where he takes out the pirates one by one. Before Gorian Shard shows up, the boss of the pirates, and he looks like Swamp Thing with all the foliage look. Din Djarin just boom hides out of there after that. And then he goes to a planet, I don't know what the planet is, but he goes there and he meets with Bo-Katan. And yeah, honestly, this is the most different I've ever seen Bo-Katan. Like, usually doesn't matter how she's in Clone Wars, in Rebels, even in a previous season of Mandalorian, she's always like dead steadfast on what she wants to do and like will stop at nothing to get it done. But she's just completely given up now after she didn't manage to get the Darksaber off Moff Gideon. Her forces just started to give up on her and just left. So now she's got nothing left, and she's just sitting in this castle, just wallowing in her uselessness. Well, I'm sure that's how she feels, because she's got no reason. Well, she's got no reason to keep going now because she's got no army, she's got no ship, she's got nothing left, and she's just given up. Which I've never seen Bo-Katan like that. Yeah. And now Mandalorian is off on his way to Mandalore, to the city of Sundari, which is where Satine's palace used to be. It's where the final season of Clone Wars took place, the final battle of Clone Wars. the city of Sundari. I wonder, will he? Have they? Do you think? Well, this show came out like a month ago, well, and it came out some time ago, and I wonder. You probably already know because you've probably seen this, but I wonder if they actually made a set of that palace. I want to see the palace. I want to see Satine's throne room in live action and see the hole where I want to see the hole in the wall where Maul got thrown through by Ahsoka. I want to see that. I want to see that in live action because it would be so cool. But I doubt it. But yeah, this was an amazing start off of season 3 of Mandalorian, and I can't wait to get into more. I'm going to try and do an episode per day for this entire week. I'm not going to rank this episode in any order because it's the first episode. What's the point of ranking it when it's nothing to rank against? But yeah, this was season 3, episode 1 of Mandalorian, and I will be doing more in the coming weeks. So that is all we've got for now. Until next time, we are over and out. Bye!